Hi, welcome back to another Creative Tap tutorial. In today's little tutorial, I'm just going to show you how to use the animation properties or animation workflow inside of Photoshop to do some hand-drawn animation stuff. So let's dive straight on in. I'm going to create a new file, and so File, New, and going to go to the Film and Video tab. And HD TV 1080 I want, so 1920 by 1080, so it's full HD. I'm just going to stick with 72 pixels per inch at the moment. That should be fine, and I'm going to click create. Okay, so you might not have this timeline at the bottom of your Photoshop, so if you don't have that, what you'll want to do is you'll want to go to Window, Workspace, and just make sure that you select Motion, and then you should have it all pop up. If you still can't see it, just come down into Window and make sure Timeline has got a little tick to it, and you should be ready to go. Now, what I'm going to do is down here, I'm just going to click Create Video Timeline, and that's taken this layer and put it on our timeline essentially. You've got a couple of things that you want to think about. This is your frames per second, so how many images per second. So first of all, let's say I want to do 12 frames per second. For example, if you come into here, you can go to set timeline frame rate. There we go. So you've got selection here. Let's say, for example, 24 frames per second, and then you can click OK. And down here, you'll see that's now updated. If you want to sort of zoom in now, we can see that this is 5 seconds long. You can shorten it. If you take this layer 0, I always use this as just a blank layer, which I'll always deactivate if I don't want it. But it's the easiest way to set the time limit, or set how long you want your timeline to be. So let's just say, for example, let's just pull this up to 10 seconds. So you can see as I'm dragging it, 10 seconds, and that'll set it to 10 seconds. If you were to create a video layer and then do this late and then extend the timeline later, the video layer won't adjust with it, which is a bit of a weird one, but yeah. What we want to do now is this layer 0 isn't actually a video layer, so we won't be able to actually animate with it. You can keep it on as a sort of white background though if you like. What I'm going to do next is go to Layer, come down, Video Layers, New Blank Video Layer. So a blank video layer is just like an empty layer where you can draw and use a brush tool or any of the tools that you want. A new video layer from File will actually get, say, if you've got a video which you want to animate over the top of, you can do that as well. So I'll go New Blank Video Layer, and you can see this is actually started it from 6 seconds because my time cursor was there. So if I just bring my time indicator back to the beginning, and I can do the same with this and drag this. But you'll notice you can't extend the composition with, you can't extend the timeline with a video layer, which is a bit weird. Anyway, layer 1 is our video layer. You can see there's that little icon there. So I'll just rename this to video layer, like this. If I were to get my brush, I'm using a graphics tablet, and I'd recommend that people use graphics tablets if they can, but if you can't, then just use mouse. Now if I just start going like that, and you know, you can see that looks pretty normal. One thing you do want to do is enable timeline shortcut keys, because now if I click this timeline, I got this drawing on here, and I hit the page down button, you'll see the time indicator down here. It moves. We can move it along in time, and you can see the time down here as well is moving along. So that image we drew is only visible on the first frame. So now if I come to the second one, get my brush tool, make sure the layer is selected, go like that, hit page down, go like that, hit page down, go like that, page down, page down. What you'll see is as we move in time, if we go backwards, these animate on, okay? So they're only visible for one frame. Now, let's delete that video layer and get a just new blank video layer, like so, new blank video layer, and just put that all the way to the beginning. Ooh, Overshot it there. Right, cool. Got a new blank video layer now, and I'm going to show you something different. If you were to go into the options and turn on Enable Onion Skins, okay, what this will do is if I were to animate my name, which is John, so let's go to the first frame, draw a little bit of the J, come to the second frame. You can see when I come to the second frame, it's almost it's showing me where my last drawing was. It's faded and that won't appear in final render, but if I now want to draw the next bit of the J and make sure it's all lining up, you can see as I move on throughout, the last frame will still be there, but it'll look a little bit greyed out, okay? And it's just basically snap in there. If you want to turn that off, go to View and turn off the snap so it won't snap to the guides. So now I can animate this J coming on. So if you want to, if it's a bit distracting, you can turn off Enable Onion Skins, and there you go. We've got that J kind of animating on, and that's basically it. You can kind of an exercise which I set my students to do is to first of all animate their name coming on. I would say take 4 frames for each letter, and once you've completed that, you should end up with a nice little animation of your name, which I will play for you now. Okay, so there you have it. That's a nice little introduction to animating inside of Photoshop. One last thing, if you ever did want to export your little animation, you can set this this little work area. If you only want to export, say 4 seconds, you just drag this down to 4 seconds, or whatever area you want to render out, and then just come to here, render video, and some options should pop up now. Give it a little bit of time. You've got formatted, I'll go for H.264 to be honest, high quality, 1920 by 1080, and yeah, you can just select where you want to save it to and then click render. I'm not going to do that because I've only got a couple of frames in here. But cheers for tuning in. Hope you found that helpful. Leave a comment of what you want me to post up next, and yeah, like, subscribe. See you later. Cheers.